In this box is cheap clear taillights for my BMW F30. I bought them off Amazon for less than half of most competing websites. They took almost 2 months to arrive, and as you can see, I'm finally unboxing them. In this video, I will be installing them and doing a full review from unboxing to on the car to see if these are worth the price Amazon is asking for them. On Amazon, these are advertised as being fully plug and play with both LCI and pre-LCI models, and they were recommended to me by a friend from the BMW F30 community. My first impression upon getting them out of the box is okay. The front of them looks great. I have no problems with how they look visually, but the rear is a bit of a wire spaghetti. It's definitely because of the whole resistor and compatibility with both LCI and pre-LCI models, but it is a wire spaghetti back here and a little bit sketchy looking. Moving on to the install, I could be here talking for a while if I wanted to be. I'm going to sum it up as quick as possible. I was going to film the whole installation, but it quickly turned into one of those installations where it was cameras off, ask dad for help. We got to get this done before the end of the day. The two outer lights were about as easy as it gets. Literally 2 bolts, anyone could figure it out. The inner lights were the problem. And honestly, based on who I asked and the experience I heard from other people, I don't think it's a fault of the Amazon lights. It's just how BMW chose to design the inner lights. It's honestly stupid. The idea is that you slide the light in from the outside, and then there's a clip that you insert on the inside of the trunk to hold it all together. But this does not work whatsoever. You just end up pushing the light out of its little tab it's supposed to sit in. To make a long story short, we got really lucky with the one side. It actually ended up working and it seems to be holding. But the other side, we ended up double-sided taping in based on the recommendation from a friend. It's been holding so far and it's been a couple days. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, it was pretty rough. And I'm not the only person I know who's done this now. So yeah, definitely a rough install. Not necessarily the fault of the Amazon light, but definitely a rough install. That being said, was it worth it? Well, have a look. So visually on the car, these obviously look fantastic. I have no complaints on how they just look visually. They look great. I was also worried about fitment issues, like if there was going to be either a really big gap or a gap that was too small, or if my trunk wasn't going to close, or blah, blah, blah. But I'm happy to report that there is no fitment issues whatsoever. My trunk closes. All that is good. Here's what they look like when they're on. This is just like the running lights. They look great. No complaints there at all. To wrap this up, I'm going to give my final thoughts on these lights over some footage of me driving. So, should you buy the cheap Amazon clear tail lights for your F30? The answer is maybe. So obviously the installation process was not a positive. Like I said, one of these is being held in with double-sided tape right now. But from what I've heard, that's not an issue that's exclusive to the Amazon taillights. I've had people with all kinds of different taillights for these cars from all different places chime in and say they had issues installing their lights. So I'm not ready to blame the Amazon taillights for that. It's been a couple days since I've installed them. I've gone on multiple drives. If they were going to wiggle loose and pop out, they would have by now. So I'm somewhat confident in saying that they are in, they're installed, and they're going to stay. Weirdly enough, today I had a fault code pop up on my dash. It said rear brake light malfunction, but when I went to go look, it wasn't malfunctioned at all, and the code actually ended up disappearing by the end of the day. So with the exception of that fault code that disappeared, the brake lights work, the turn signals work, the DRLs work, the reverse lights, as far as I know, work. I have no complaints. So finally, to answer the question, do I recommend these? I do, on one condition. If you have an LCI car, I would buy these. If you have a pre-LCI car, you can still get these, but I would get a different harness. See, I think most of the potential issues that I'm going to have with these are going to be with the absolute just wire spaghetti that is the harness. Now, these are advertised as being plug and play with LCI and pre-LCI, But if you have an LCI, you can just disconnect the wire soup and just plug the stock harness right into them. If you have a pre-LCI, you have to connect them into the spaghetti wires, and it's not great. I've talked to quite a few people who have clear taillights. The general consensus is that they're basically all the same from no matter where you get them from. So you could get like the really expensive ones from like a known supplier. Apparently, they're kind of the same as these ones from Amazon. If you have these lights, let me know what your experience has been like in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.